Good morning students, we start with the development of metencephalon and myelencephalon, or it is asked as development of rhombencephalon. So therefore indirectly this is development of pons and medulla oblongata. It can be asked in this way also, write a short note on development of medulla oblongata or write a short note on development of pons. Here we go. Now the entire rhombencephalon, that is metencephalon and myelencephalon, both metencephalon and myelencephalon will be arranged in such a way that the development will rotate around basal lamina and alar lamina only. And we have seen in the gross anatomy of medulla oblongata and pons in the cross sections at various levels, we have to deposit various nuclei at various places. So the development, as I repeat once again, will rotate on basal lamina and alar lamina only. And therefore the main development will be on 3 functional components of basal lamina and 4 functional components of sensory lamina, that is alar lamina. Therefore, our first diagram for the development of medulla oblongata as well as pons will be, this is going to be our first diagram. So let us draw this. Here we go with this diagram, and what we need is, here we show this ventrally, the thickened portion, and this will join here. Now this thickened portion will be divided into 2 parts, ventral, alar. The alar lamina, which was located dorsally during the development of spinal cord, it has migrated from dorsolateral side to the dorsolateral, it will migrate to the lateral side of the ventral lamina. That means on either side of ventral lamina we have to show alar lamina in the development of medulla oblongata and pons, that is metencephalon and myelencephalon. So therefore here we need 2 different elevations. So those 2 different elevations will go like this. For example, if this is supposing the midpoint, here we show this elevation, basal, and here alar. Same way basal and alar. Same way over here. This is how we have to draw the diagram for the development of the metens and myelencephalon. So that this much portion we will consider it as basal lamina, and here this much portion we will consider it as alar lamina, and this is the cavity, and this will be the roof plate. Above structure, this will be the entire roof plate. So therefore same way over here, this will be the basal lamina most medially, and most laterally the alar lamina. Second important point, this is the first important point. Now second important point, since alar lamina have settled lateral to basal lamina, these 2 basal lamina, these 2 alar lamina, all the structures or all the neurons that develop from basal lamina will develop into motor neurons, and all the neurons that develop from alar lamina will develop into sensory neurons. Please note down the most important point for the development of metencephalon and myelencephalon. Once again I repeat, all the neurons that develop in basal lamina will develop into motor neurons, and all the neurons that develop in alar lamina will develop into sensory neurons. Now, third important step. During the starting of development of this metens and myelencephalon, the motor neurons of basal lamina are arranged from medial to lateral in 3 different functional columns, and those 3 different functional columns we have to draw. So therefore those 3 different functional columns will be, the first column which we draw will be somatic efferent. So this column will be somatic efferent column on both the sides, and this somatic efferent will involve all the structures that will develop from somites. So it will develop into those nerves, those cranial nerve nuclei which will supply, the muscles of taking origin from somites. For example, extraocular muscles and the muscles of the tongue. So therefore Oculomotor, trochlear, abducent and hypoglossal nerves will go in this somatic efferent. And here, just below, you have to mention somatic efferent functional group. Somatic efferent. Lateral to it, the second functional group in the basal lamina. Lateral to it, the second functional group in the basal lamina will be it is called branchial efferent, or it is called spatial visceral efferent. So both the names you have to mention. Either you write branchial efferent or you write spatial visceral efferent. Now here you have to add one sentence, as we have added one sentence in somatic efferent. The second functional group or the second motor column in the basal lamina, branchial efferent or spatial visceral efferent, will develop into those cranial nerve nuclei which will supply the muscles which are derived from branchial arches. Branchial arches, we know that. So mandibular nerve, facial nerve, then glossopharyngeal nerve, superior laryngeal and recurrent laryngeal nerves. Then the third and the last in the basal lamina, this will be known as this is the third and the last, this will be known as the general visceral efferent. So therefore, here I will write this general visceral efferent. So this general visceral efferent will develop into those cranial nerve nuclei which will supply the smooth muscles of alimentary and respiratory tract, as well as the muscles of the heart, as well as secretomotor fibers to the glands of the body. Therefore, those neurons will develop from general visceral efferent, and they will lead to development of parasympathetic neurons. So therefore, general visceral efferent, parasympathetic group of neurons, those are the same neurons, cranial nerve nuclei, which will supply once again the smooth muscles of the alimentary respiratory tract, as well as muscles of the heart, as well as the glands of the body. General visceral efferent. So medial to lateral, somatic efferent. Number 2, branchial efferent or spatial visceral efferent. Number 3, general visceral efferent. Here we complete the 3 main functional components present in basal lamina from medial to lateral. This is fixed. Now we go to the alar lamina, where we see the 4 functional components. Now these functional components will go, as we know, it will go from ventral to dorsal, because alar lamina is slightly elevated laterally. So now we name it that the functional components present in alar lamina from ventral to dorsal will be, here we go, if we continue with this number 1, 2, 3. So therefore 1, 2, 3, then 4th one. So 4th one we start from ventral to dorsal. Now this one will be known as the general visceral efferent. So therefore here we will name it as general visceral efferent. And this general visceral efferent, I will write it here only, general visceral efferent. This will develop into those neurons which will supply, those cranial nerve which will supply the sensory fibers from the viscera. They will bring the sensory fibers from the viscera. Alar lamina, sensory. So therefore it will bring sensations from the viscera, general visceral efferent. Then we go to the next one. In the next one, this will be known as spatial visceral efferent. It will be known as the spatial visceral efferent. So therefore, this will be known as, here I will write down, this will be known as spatial visceral efferent. It will develop into those cranial nerve nuclei which will bring the taste fibers, taste sensations from the tongue and palate. So spatial visceral efferent, bringing the taste sensations from the tongue and the palate. Then we go to, here we will write in sequence 4, 5, now 6 and 7, the last 2. The last 2 will be, there will be the second last here, and we will name this functional component which is present in the alar lamina, second last This will be known as general somatic afferent. So here I will mention this as general somatic afferent. It will develop into those neurons which will bring the sensations from skull, face and external ear. From the skull, face and external ear, the sensations are brought to those neurons which develop in general somatic afferent. Last one, and the last one will be, it will be known as spatial somatic afferent. The last one will be known as the spatial somatic afferent. So here I will write down, this will be spatial somatic afferent. And please note down, this spatial somatic afferent will be only vestibulocochlear nerve nuclei. So therefore, this vestibulocochlear nerve nuclei, that means they will bring the auditory sensations as well as vestibular sensations. And therefore, this is the last one, and we will name this as 6 and 7. These are the total 7 functional group nuclei from medial to lateral. This is fixed, and this is very much asked in entrance exams, in MCQs, in vivas, everywhere, throughout. Please note down, this will remain the standard format. If you can understand and remember these 7 functional components, you can easily understand the entire development of our metencephalon, myelencephalon, even the midbrain. The entire development of brainstem is depending upon these 7 functional components, medial to lateral. This will remain fixed. There will be no alteration within these functional components. So once again, from medial to lateral, somatic efferent, then branchial efferent or spatial visceral efferent, then general visceral efferent, then we go to general visceral afferent, then spatial visceral afferent, then general somatic afferent, and then spatial somatic afferent.